So this next piece is the cow catcher, and for whatever reason they took it out of the most recent Project Lead the Way updated the curriculum, and I think it's because they think you guys are wusses and that you can't handle making a cow catcher. It's been very frustrating for a lot of people, but it's really not that bad. I'm going to show you an easy way to make it with this video. So let's go ahead and start up a new part file. And we are just going to start off with the base. And if we look at the cow catcher, it actually starts off where it has kind of a rectangle, and it goes up into a triangle. I am going to make a vertical constraint with the midpoint of our rectangle. There it is in the origin, and with the tip of the triangle in the origin. Okay, so now everything is centered up on this plane, on this axis. It's all looking good so far. It says that from here to here is 1.8. And going out to the tip of this is 1 inch. And this little flat part here is 0.25. And really, that's all the geometry that you need for the bottom half of this. So let's get rid of this since we do not need it and finish our sketch. Now comes the part that can be tricky for some. We're going to be making a new plane that's 0.75 up above the one that we just made. So if we go and look in our origin folder at the XZ plane, we click to make a new plane, we can click on the one that's showing, drag straight up, and I believe it was 0.75, right? Let's double check. Yeah, 0.75 up. So now this is 3/4 of an inch above what we just drew. So we're going to sketch on this plane, make a new sketch, and now we're going to draw something very similar on the top of this. And it says that this is actually 1.2 from left to right and 0.75 from top to bottom. But we're going to draw it the exact same way. So I'm going to put in a rectangle. I'm going to draw in my lines. I think I missed there. There we go. Go to my vertical constraint. I want the midpoint of this rectangle and the midpoint of this origin to be the same. Same thing for the tip of my triangles and the origin. And now I get to go back in dimension, and it's supposed to be 1.2. And this dimension here is supposed to be 0.25. Oh, and I did not get the 0.75 yet, so let's throw that in. And believe it or not, they actually over-dimensioned this. There's no reason why we need the 0.6 here if we're assuming that this is all going to be symmetrical. Just knowing that's 0.25, this is 0.75, that's all that we really need. So now, let's finish the sketch and look at it. We're going to loft from this section up to this section. Right click on this plane, uncheck visibility. We have most of this done. Now we just have to go and sketch on our faces to make this part. And that's easily done. You say new sketch, you select offset, click on the outside lines and drop inside, and it says those are supposed to be 0.1 all the way around. So from there to there is 0.1. E for extrude. We're going to be cutting that out, and it's supposed to be, let's see where they have the depth. I guess it's showing the overall thickness is 0.05. Trying to see if they have just the depth of that cut, and I do not see it. So, let's just go and go with 0.05. If we see something different, we can always come back to it. Otherwise, you'll get the main idea of how to make this, and that's okay too. We'll offset this section. By 0.1. E for extrude. We're cutting that back 0.05 as well. This whole thing is going to be shelled out, and it says that the shell on this is 0.1 TYP. So actually, if the whole thing is 0.1 and this one section here is 0.05, then we did right. That is supposed to be half of what the overall thickness is. Let's look at this bottom corner here. Shell. And it's already set to 0.1, so that's cool. I'll show you something though. I think we did something a little out of order. Oh, it didn't catch us. Well, it kinda did. It made this a little thicker in the back piece, and I think that is because we already made this. So what I'm going to do to fix it, we have our two extrusions for this, and we have our shell here. I'm going to drag my shell above those two extrusions, and now if I look at the bottom of this, it's saying that the shell happened before these were cut out, which means that this is all the same thickness if we look right at the bottom, and that this is going to be half of that. So we're still looking good. Now I just have to make a new sketch on the back side of this. So we have three little circles we're extruding out. They each have a diameter of, where's my diameter? 0.125. Let's draw three circles, set them all to be equal. Oop. Clicked on the wrong line there. And then I'm going to dimension one of them to be, what do we say? 0.125. Now we need a dimension over 0.275 and dimension up 0.125. And we're going to keep those same dimensions for this one. So I can just click on it, use that as a reference dimension. I know I want this to be in the exact middle of the part, so I can click on my vertical constraint, the midpoint of that, and the midpoint of this. And I need to know how far off from the top this is, so I still need this dimension here. And try and see where they give that to me. Right here, it's showing the center of that up to the top is 0.125. So that's all three of those. And now we need to extrude them out. It looks like they need to come out a distance of, where would that be? Having a hard time seeing this. Oh, there it is. 0.125. and they are chamfered as a 0.01. So let's make this a 3D chamfer, and it's all three of these edges. See if there are any other notes. There's an optional chamfer for the linkage peg. No, looks like we have all the dimensions that we need. So go ahead and save this as your cow catcher. Easy, right?